Welcome to Dark Frame Stories, where the shadows speak and the stories stay with you long after the screen goes dark. Tonight's tale is the Ravensmoor Curse, a slow descent into the dark roots of a forgotten town. Make sure you're alone, and keep the lights on just in case. Now let's begin. They told me Ravensmoor was a quiet town, tucked between endless pine forests and old roads nobody uses anymore. It looked like something out of a forgotten postcard. But from the moment I crossed the iron gates on the edge of town, I knew something was wrong. The first thing I noticed wasn't the chill, it was the silence. Not the kind you hear in the country, no birdsong, no rustling trees, just a suffocating emptiness. Even my footsteps felt muted. It was like the town had been vacuum sealed, frozen in time. I was there to sort out my late uncle's estate, Edgar Marlowe. The man was a recluse, and apparently the last living soul in the Marlowe bloodline besides me. I hadn't seen him since I was 8. No memories of him, just the occasional postcard with weird, jagged handwriting and symbols I couldn't read. His house sat at the far end of Ravensmoor, past a crumbling graveyard and an abandoned school. Locals avoided that road. I didn't understand why until I reached the house. It wasn't just old, it was wrong. Like it had been built to keep something in, not out. Black shutters nailed shut. A front door sealed with 3 separate locks. Windows covered in symbols etched into the glass. Inside, it smelled like dried herbs and ash. Every room had strange books stacked in uneven towers. Sketches of people with no faces, maps with shifting landmarks. A journal sat in the middle of a circle drawn on the floor, as if placed there in warning. I should have left. I didn't. The journal was full of entries dated up to 2 days before Edgar died. He wasn't insane, he was terrified. Every page repeated a warning. It wakes when the bloodline ends. The deeper I dug, the more twisted it got. He believed our family was cursed. That the town existed only because the Marlowes had made a pact with something deep beneath the forest. Not metaphorically, literally. He described rituals done in the ravine, an altar carved into stone, names no human should speak. I told myself it was the ramblings of a paranoid old man. But the next night I heard the bell, a single low chime. There was no bell tower in Ravensmoor. I thought it was in my head until the walls of the house groaned like something massive had shifted below them. The air turned damp, heavy, and that night I dreamed of tunnels. Endless, spiraling tunnels carved into stone and bone. Each night, the dreams got worse. I'd wake up with dirt under my nails, mud on my feet. The floor around the journal would be disturbed, the symbols smudged. On the 7th night, the bell rang again. This time, I was awake. That's when I started seeing the figures. They stood at the edge of the woods at dusk. Tall, faceless, watching. If I looked too long, they'd vanish. But I knew they were there. They always were. The journal said they were the witnesses, bound to observe the end of the pact. The end of the bloodline, my end. I left the house and checked into the only inn in town. The woman at the counter didn't say a word when I asked for a room, just handed me a rusted key and shut the door behind me. My room faced the cemetery. On the 3rd night, I saw Edgar. He was standing between the graves, staring at my window. He didn't move, didn't blink. His skin was pale, tight around his bones. I went down with the flashlight, convinced I was hallucinating. But the footprints in the mud were fresh. That night, a new entry appeared in the journal, not in Edgar's handwriting. It said, "The pact must be repaid. Blood must return to the soil." I tried leaving town the next morning, packed my bags, started the car, headed for the main road. But every path looped back to the house. No matter what I did, I always ended up back at that rusted gate. I wasn't just stuck. I was trapped. That night, the house breathed. I heard it exhale. The floor pulsed beneath my feet. The shadows grew longer, stretched unnaturally. I tried burning the journal. It wouldn't light. Tried tearing the pages, they mended themselves. Then I made a mistake. I opened the cellar. The air was thick with rot. The steps led down into darkness that didn't feel empty. There were markings on the walls, some painted, some carved deep, a stone altar in the center, and blood. Fresh blood. I don't remember what happened when I touched the altar. Only that I woke up outside, covered in scratches, my clothes shredded. The townspeople were standing around me in a circle, silent, watching. They didn't speak, just turned and walked away. The next morning, the grave next to Edgar's was dug. My name was already etched into the stone. I begged. I screamed. I called out to anyone who'd listen. No one did. That night, I ran into the forest. For hours, I sprinted through trees that all looked the same. Branches clawed at my skin. Whispers followed me, growing louder, overlapping. 1,000 voices speaking in a language I didn't understand. I fell into the ravine. There, beneath the earth, I saw it. A creature of roots and bone, eyes stitched shut, mouth full of ash. It didn't move, didn't need to. I felt it in my mind. In my memories, rewriting everything, it showed me the truth. The Marlows hadn't made a pact. They were the sacrifice. Every generation was born to die here, to keep the thing sleeping. Edgar broke the cycle by dying alone. Now it was awake. I was the last, the final offering. I tried to kill myself. The noose snapped. The pills turned to dust. The lake spat me out. It wouldn't let me die. Not yet. The journal grew thicker with entries I never wrote. It called me by names I didn't know, names from centuries ago. I don't know how long I've been here now. Days blur, time bends. Ravensmoor exists outside everything. Every night, the bell rings. Every night, it gets closer. I can feel it beneath the floorboards now, shifting, hungering. I can feel myself changing. And soon, I won't be me anymore. If you're reading this, don't come looking for me. Don't follow the road past the ravine. Don't listen for the bell. Because once you hear it, you're already part of it. Now, you know the price of blood. You've just heard the Ravensmoor Curse, and now you know the price of blood. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the darkness, don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe for more chilling stories every week. Hit the bell icon so you never miss what's lurking in the shadows. Until next time, sleep carefully.